From a cameo-studded criminal trial to a sly first-episode callback, the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm borrowed a lot from Seinfeld's notorious ending. Ever since Larry was arrested in Atlanta for giving Auntie Ray a bottle of water at the polling station, Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 12 has been building towards the inevitable trial. This setup naturally led to a lot of fan theories that Curb would be copying Seinfeld's final episode. And ultimately, Curb's finale, Season 12, Episode 10, No Lessons Learned, did have a lot in common with the Seinfeld finale. Much like the Seinfeld finale, the Curb Your Enthusiasm finale sees the main character on trial in an unfamiliar town, facing jail time for breaking an obscure local law. This trial allows for a succession of guest stars from the show's history to resurface and provide their testimony. After Larry is initially sent to jail, just like the Seinfeld gang, there's an unexpected twist that completely changes the ending. The namesake of Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld himself, has gotten the case thrown out due to a run-in with a juror who resembled Joe Pesci. Jerry recognized the juror at the courthouse the next day and realized he had violated the sequestration. But before Jerry saves Larry from suffering the same finale fate he did, No Lessons Learned is jam-packed with references to Seinfeld's last episode. Larry is on trial in the Curb finale like Jerry, George, Elaine and Kramer in Seinfeld's finale. The Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm finales share the same premise. Dean Norris as Judge Whittaker in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Curb Your Enthusiasm's finale shares the same premise as Seinfeld's finale. The main characters of both shows are put on trial for breaking an obscure local law. In the Seinfeld finale, Jerry, George, Elaine, and Kramer's plane has to make an emergency landing in the small town of Latham, Massachusetts. After showing callous indifference to a carjacking, the four characters are arrested for violating the Good Samaritan law, which enforces a duty to rescue, and put on trial. In the Curb Your Enthusiasm finale, Larry is on trial in Atlanta for breaking the Election Integrity Act, a controversial, recently passed Georgia law that forbids people from giving out free food or water to voters waiting in line at a polling station. In Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 12, Episode 1, Larry was arrested for giving a bottle of water to Auntie Ray at a polling station. In the finale, the case finally goes to trial and Larry returns to Atlanta to take the stand. 6. Both finales involve a succession of familiar faces testifying against the main characters in court. Both finales have a Greatest Hits compilation of memorable guest stars. Mocha Joe takes the stand in Curb Your Enthusiasm. In the Seinfeld finale, the trial is used as a vehicle to bring back a bunch of familiar faces from the show's history. Each week, the characters of Seinfeld wronged a different one-off supporting character, and in the finale, their past comes back to haunt them as all these enemies come out of the woodwork to testify against them in court. The Curb Your Enthusiasm finale uses the same trick as the prosecuting attorney, Earl Mack, played by Greg Kinnear, brings in a succession of character witnesses to testify against Larry. The Seinfeld finale featured appearances by Terry Hatcher as Sidra Holland, Brian Doyle-Murray as the Bubble Boy's father Mel Sanger, Philip Baker Hall as the library detective, Joe Bookman, and Larry Thomas as Yev Kassem, the soup Nazi. Jane Leeves reprised her role as Marla Penny, Jerry's sexually inexperienced ex-girlfriend who was horrified by the contest. Brian George returned as Babu Bhatt, the Pakistani chef whose business was ruined by Jerry's suggestions and whose citizenship was ruined by Elaine's carelessness. Frances Bay returned as Mabel Choate, the elderly woman whose rye bread was stolen by Jerry on the street. The Curb Your Enthusiasm finale featured appearances by long-standing Larry rivals like Severio Guerra as Mocha Joe and Dana Lee as Mr. Takahashi, as well as one-off characters like Jillian Bell as Maureen, Larry's assistant from the Seinfeld reunion. He peed on her portrait of Jesus Christ. Bruce Springsteen returned to accuse Larry of intentionally infecting him with COVID. Alexander Weinman returned to accuse Larry of trying to bribe a city councilor. Tracy Ullman reprised her role as Larry's ex Irma Kostrowski to recount the tale of Larry stealing a pair of shoes from an exhibit in a Holocaust museum. Some of the Curb finale's guest appearances were deep cuts. Iris Barr returned as Rachel Heineman, the woman who jumped off a ski lift to avoid being with Larry after sundown. Bailey Thompson returned as Tara Michelson from Season 2's The Doll, one of Curb Your Enthusiasm's greatest episodes, a part she originally played as a child. Elia English returned as Auntie Ray, initially to testify in Larry's favor before deciding to sabotage his case by revealing every terrible thing he ever did to her. Like the Seinfeld finale, the Curb finale is a veritable who's who of past guest stars.